In some of the most remote parts of Europe, you'll find an elusive, elegant and enchanting big cat. Spotting one would be a tough task if it wasn't for these camera traps. The Iberian Peninsula used to be home to thousands of lynx. At the turn of the 21st century, the population plummeted, leaving the species named the world's most endangered cat. I'm in the Spanish mountains to find out about the conservation efforts bringing the Iberian lynx back from the brink of extinction. It was here in the Sierra Morena mountains of Andalusia that the conservation project began in 2002.
That view is just breathtaking.
Yeah.
Ramon Perez de Ayala runs the Worldwide Fund for Nature Iberian Lynx project and was part of the small team that started it.
This area is absolutely stunning. What makes the lynx and this part of the world so combined, so significant to each other?
This is one of the most remote places in Europe with the lowest density. That's why a lot of animals remain here: Iberian lynx, Iberian eagle, black vulture, and almost any the predator in Spain, you can find it here.
Why was the Iberian lynx population struggling so much before this project started?
We have four main causes: habitat changes because of human agriculture, rabbit decrease. Lynx eat almost only rabbits. 98% of the diet is rabbits. The rabbit has two big illnesses, one in the 50s and one in the late 80s, that the population decreased almost 90%. And there was less rabbits, so hunters thought lynx was the enemy, so they were hunting the lynx also. And each time we have more roads, so there is more roadkills.
Tell me about the program that you've been working on to enable the lynx population here to thrive.
The first step was to stop the decreasing of the population. So what we did was increasing rabbit populations where lynxes were. And then the next step was doing reintroductions. We first started in Andalusia learning how to reintroduce lynxes. And then we moved to the rest of Spain and also to Portugal and started reintroducing lynxes. Right now we have 8 populations and 1,365 lynxes.
I'm really hoping that during this trip I get to see a lynx in the wild. Given that you have seen a lynx in the wild here many times, what does it feel like? Tell me a bit about the animal, what it looks like and what makes it so special.
They are so beautiful, and watching them hunting, how they seek the rabbits and that way they look, it's fantastic. They have, what was the name of that?
Sideburns.
Sideburns. And a white line below the eyes that make the look more intense, and also like a brush on the top of the ears. And when they get angry or scared, they blow up and look even bigger.
When the project began, one of the first challenges was working out how to count the remaining lynx population. The initial census found less than 100, and 70 of those were in these hills. Monitoring is still a key part of the work.
Tell me about this site and the part it plays in your work.
This is Puerto Bajo. It's a private hunting state. We have been working here for 20 years already, trying to recover the lynx. Lynxes were just 1 kilometer away from here, and now we have lynxes breeding here.
And a really important part of this site is the monitoring work that you do here.
Of course, one of the main issues that we have to do is monitoring. We know how many lynxes we have because we do photo trapping. We put cameras, and the lynxes have a different pattern, each one, so we can recognize each lynx. They have names.
For each individual lynx you recognise just from the patterns on its coat?
Yeah, it's like the fingerprint, so we can recognize it.
And this device is what helps you do that?
Yeah, that's a camera trap. It's digital. If there is a lynx crossing, it shoots a photo, and then we recognize it.
How often will you spot lynx with this camera trap?
Here, almost every week, there is a lynx crossing this area.
The lynx photos are stored in a large database and analysed by eye, a time-consuming job, leading the WWF to develop an artificial intelligence programme to quickly identify cats using the unique patterns on their coats.
What else do you do to monitor the lynx population here?
The other way of monitoring lynx population is by scats. The lynxes are territorial, so they mark their territory with scats, and they put the scats in places easy to see. The lynxes ones are quite white, and they put it on the side of the roads or in the middle, and especially in crossroads. See, there? You can see white from far away.
This is lynx cat.
This is lynx cat, yeah. They are quite destroyed because of the car crossing, but this is the white ones. That's an old one, and this is more recent one.
What are the white flecks in this older one?
Rabbit bones. Here you can see rest of rabbit bones, and all the scat is rabbit hair.
So you can tell an enormous amount about what the lynx has been eating, but what else can you tell about the animal from its scat?
We can identify species to see where lynxes are or not. We can also identify individuals. When we go to a scat, we get samples and send it to a laboratory to identify DNA. And then we can also identify if there is inbreeding problems in the population.
The fragmentation of lynx populations left the species with limited genetic diversity, which can lead to health problems. The project aims to link up existing ranges and uses DNA samples to help monitor progress. So this is really important in understanding the health and future of the Iberian lynx.
Yeah, we get a huge amount of information from a single scat.
So this tells us that there has been a lynx here in the last few weeks at least. Fingers crossed that means we might see the cat itself. Should we continue our hunt?
Let's see if we are lucky.
Alongside monitoring, a number of other interventions are helping the lynx recover. The key is boosting their main source of food. To do this, the WWF team have released thousands of wild rabbits and built artificial warrens. Today, Anton Alvarez and Alfonso Moreno are releasing rabbits relocated from nearby farmland.
Go inside.
The artificial warrens are specially constructed concrete tunnels, the perfect home for rabbits.
Why do they need artificial enclosures? Why can't they just make their own?
Here there are a lot of predation because we are just in a wild area, so this gives a settle and it's easier to establish a population of rabbits.
Okay, so you know they're going to be safer here than they would be if you just released them into the wild.
Yeah.
Alfonso, I've noticed you're checking the rabbits' ears and eyes. Why are you doing that?
Para ver si los tienen limpios, a ver si los tienen sanos, no tengan suciedad o tengan pelos metidos dentro, que se les vea el ojo bien.
The Mediterranean wild rabbit population has declined drastically due to two viruses: myxomatosis in 1952 and rabbit hemorrhagic disease in 1988, and again in 2011 to 12.
How many rabbits do you need to release to ensure the lynx population is healthy?
We know that the lynx needs more or less 1 rabbit per day. So in this area, for example, we have a breeding female, so it's so important to have enough food for the female and also for the cubs. We know that the survival of the cubs, the number of cubs per female, is correlated to the density of rabbits. So the rabbit is a keystone in the Mediterranean forest.
So the lynx being healthy is entirely reliant on the rabbit population being healthy?
Yeah, totally.
Let's do the next one.
Okay.
Artificial warrens have been built in all areas populated by lynx, including 300 on this hunting estate. A battery of other conservation measures have been introduced, from habitat restoration to the creation of wildlife corridors and tunnels to reduce fatal car accidents, all helping the lynx bounce back. The success of the Iberian Lynx restoration project is in part due to an unusual collaboration. In Spain, most land is privately owned, and a large part is used for the popular Spanish pastime of game hunting. So to access lynx habitats, the WWF has had to gain the trust of hunting estate owners. Fernando Andrade van der Waal was one of the first to come on board.
At the end of the 19th century, my great-grandfather bought the first property here. These sort of places were used long time ago only for sheep, goats, cattle. And the business of these shepherds was every time more difficult because there was too many predators.
Why is it so important for this programme to be successful that landowners are involved?
80% of the population of the lynx is, from the beginning, and still it is, on private lands. 80%. The lynx is a very good helper to the hunters because he keeps out other rivals like the foxes, like other predators, because he's no fear of them. At the beginning, some hunters were reluctant to have the lynx because they didn't know really the labor that this animal can do in protecting the small game, birds, rabbits. Once we know it, I knew it, but once they know it, they are lynx protector immediately.
The lynx is their friend.
The species like lynx is a jewel. My father and my grandfather never killed one. So for me, it's in my genes to conserve such a beautiful thing.
Senor Andrade van der Waal is right. The Iberian lynx is a keystone species with an important role in the Mediterranean ecosystem. As a predator, it helps control the number of foxes, mongoose and genet. Their presence also changes the behaviour of prey species. Growing public awareness of the importance of conserving biodiversity has helped change perceptions of the Iberian lynx. It's now an emblem of pride in areas that they inhabit. In total, there are now 1,365 lynx across Spain and Portugal. As numbers have increased, so too have the tourists hoping to spot these elusive cats. Photologistics is an eco-tourism company which runs lynx safaris and photography hides in the area and on Fernando's hunting estate.
It's golden hour in the Spanish mountains. The sun's just setting, beautiful light. And I'm here to meet Sylvia, who's going to tell me why this is, fingers crossed, the perfect time to see an Iberian lynx. Sylvia, hi, I'm Reya, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How are you? Thank you so much for meeting us here. Should we walk up?
Okay, let's go.
You run an eco-tourism business. This is all about bringing tourists into the area. Why is that important for the conservation of the Iberian lynx?
For me, it's very important the conservation. I think the photography is a good tool for the conservation in this special area with the special endemic species like the Iberian lynx, Spanish imperial eagle.
What role does the tourism play in the conservation here?
Here we working together with WWF. They make different actions like building the artificial barn for the rabbit. You can see around the hide. And this is a good place because the lynx used for hunt, and it's a little bit extra food for reintroducing the rabbit in this area.
And here, by the looks of it, are the hides.
Yes, sir. This is the hide.
Oh, wow, so it's a mirrored window, so they won't be able to see the people inside watching them.
Yes.
From the outside, these look quite small, quite tight. Oh, wow. This is not at all what I was expecting from the outside. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's a good place for wait the Iberian lynx.
Yeah. What's this, just in front of the hide? What's this?
In front of the hide, around the stone, is a place used the lynx for different things, sometimes for rest or sleeping because they like it in the winter. The rock is more hot. On the right, there are a truck from the cork tree and used for scratching. It's the same like the behavior of the cat.
Like you'd have a cat on your sofa scratching its nails, that's the same thing. This is like a lynx playground.
Yes. Normally this is used for mark the territory.
Oh, so they're not just playing, they're letting the other lynx know this is my home.
Yes.
How about the artificial warrens that you have here? Were they set up before the hide was here, or was the hide here first?
The first is put the artificial den, and after we discover it's the best place for put the hide. Normally they like it for hunting, for rest, or for another thing.
So it's really important that you do this without disrupting the natural behaviour of the lynx. You're fitting in with what suits the lynx rather than the other way around.
Yeah, this is very important.
Is it still very special when you see one walk across the path?
Yes, it's amazing. I remember one special day. You can see the tree, the oak tree, but it's climbing in this tree. Maybe for check something, or maybe hearing the pigeon or another bird, and after jumping again. And always you have a very different moment.
Eco-tourists often spend 8 to 10 hours in the hide in the hope of catching a glimpse of these beautiful cats. Well worth the wait, judging by some of the spectacular results. Once the conservation measures to protect existing wild Iberian lynx were proving successful, a captive breeding programme was started to bolster numbers and introduce the animals to new areas. There are currently 5 captive breeding centres, 1 in Portugal and 4 in Spain.
I'm at Spain's largest lynx breeding centre to meet the vet in charge of running the space and to find out why it plays such a vital role in the conservation of the species. Reya, hi. I'm Reya, nice to meet you.
Welcome to La Olivilla.
Thank you, it's a big site.
Yes.
Should we go and have a look?
Yes.
I can see the enclosures just ahead of us. Do we need to be quiet?
Please, I ask you to speak a bit quiet.
Okay.
Because the lynxes are very close to us now, and we don't want to bother them or them to get nervous. And also because the ones that are going to be released into the wild is not good for their behavior to get used to human voices.
Okay, so we need to speak a little bit softly. So how many lynx do you have here? How big is it?
In this moment, we have 52 animals. The adults, but also the cubs from the previous year.
And it's really important for you to mimic their natural habitat by the looks of it.
Yes, of course. The main habitat for the Iberian lynx is the Mediterranean mountain. So we always try here to be as much similar as possible, because when we release the animals to the wild, they have to be used to the same habitat.
Would success ultimately mean this centre closing down?
This would be a good thing, of course, if there is a moment that our work isn't necessary for the lynx, because it's what we want, not to be endangered, to be in Spain and Portugal as previously, and we can work for another species. Okay.
It's so exciting to be this close to lynx. I can't see or hear them anywhere though. Will we be able to spot them in these enclosures?
Perhaps, if we are lucky, we can see some of them in these enclosures, because in these enclosures there is a mother with a litter. And can you hear one of them?
That's the sound of the cub.
No, not this the cub. Probably a female, because the females have the heat. You begin to hear the females calling the males.
Okay, so that sound is a romantic call.
Yes.
We haven't been able to get a very good look at them, but it's brilliant to hear them. Can we go and have a look at the surveillance footage?
Yes, of course.
Let's go have a look.
Hola, Vanessa.
Hi. So we can actually see the lynx here?
Yes, they are in the big part of the
There's
facility.
two. There's 2 of them.
There are 3 of them.
There's 3 of them in the same
Two
exclosure.
females and a male. The mother is still with them, but in few days we have to separate the mother because the new breeding season is arriving and she has to breed again.
They are such beautiful creatures to see,
Yes.
Even if we are separated by a screen. Is there a lot to learn from surveillance of lynx here about the creature, about the species?
A lot. We have learned a lot about the behavior, some things that at the first years we didn't understood and now we do. Seeing the mother, how she behaves with the calves, also we have learned a lot of things. Is having this tool is fantastic, and the better thing is without disturbing them.
Yeah, I was going to say we're not disturbing them at the moment because it looks as though this lynx is having a nice
Is sleeping.
I don't think it will ever not be really exciting to see an Iberian lynx this close. In 2022, 55 cubs were born in captive breeding centres across Portugal and Spain. Of these, 33 were released at specially chosen locations to maximise the genetic diversity of existing wild populations and in new areas to increase their territory. The lynx that are released into new areas need to be monitored, which is done using a radio tracking collar. So this device is really important to the future of the lynx population here.
Pues es el radioseguimiento, como te he dicho antes, los primeros días es fundamental para los bichos reintroducidos y para detectar cualquier anomalía del animal, si por temas de atropello, por temas de salud y por otros muchos problemas que pueda tener.
Alfonso Moreno grew up in the mountains and has also been involved in the Lynx project since the beginning, a former hunter turned protector.
Pues cuando yo empecé en esto, salvo en Andújar y en la zona de Doñana, lince no había. ¿Cuál fue para mí una gran sorpresa? Pues cuando los linces empezaron ya a estar en mi tierra, porque de estar años y años sin verlos y sin saber que había linces, pues ahora llega a mi tierra, que es Castilla-La Mancha, y es una satisfacción que tenerlos allí, que la gente los pueda ver, estén contentos con ellos, y para mí es una satisfacción muy grande que el lince vaya evolucionando, porque es la verdad que va a pasos gigantados, y muy contento. Yo estoy muy contento con el proyecto.
After 2 days with the WWF, hearing about the Lynx project, my hopes of seeing one had begun to fade. But just as we were driving past a lynx sighting hotspot, we got an unexpected gift.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's coming out. Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
It's in the open.
While my producer Nick managed to film me on our second camera, the main camera with its high-tech telescopic lens was busy setting up. And true to its elusive form, the lynx disappeared in a flash, leaving us with only a glimpse of its tail, disappearing back into the bushes.
Okay, so it's hidden again now. But so excited to have managed to actually see the big cat climbing out of a bush and this beautiful spotted coat with its black tufts on its ears just appearing from a bush, and a sighting of really just a few seconds, but so magical to be able to actually see it. I'm buzzing. On an average day, do you have any idea of how much space the lynx would cover, how much they'd walk around?
Territory is around 500 hectares, and the study said that they move around 8 kilometers per day.
So this whole section is where the lynx would live, a really huge area. So the fact that we happened to turn the corner of the road as the lynx happened to be coming out from behind the undergrowth is, I mean, I don't even know the probability, but just really, really unlikely.
Yep, it's quite hard to see one.
After my sighting, I can understand even more why the team dedicate themselves to the protection of these striking animals. From a small core group, the project's grown to 22 organisations and hundreds of people across Spain and Portugal, all working to save this iconic species.
You've obviously had to face some challenges along the way in making this project work, in making it thrive. Do you continue to face barriers? What are some of the challenges going forward?
Our goal is to have at least 750 breeding females. That will be around 3,000 lynxes. We still need 8 new populations more, and we need to connect them.
What does success look like for you? What will happen when you retire, which will mean you'll be able to leave with a smile on your face?
Yeah, if they told us 20 years ago that we will be here, we will trust that.
It's clearly a really emotional question.
Yeah.
Why?
It has been my entire life working on that, and hopefully I will retire with Lynx safe.
It's so fascinating to see that it's such an emotive issue for you. This is clearly an animal that you love, that you feel really emotionally attached to. It's more than just work for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully it will be my entire working life, and saving a species from almost extinguished to recovery.
As Ramon's reaction shows, this is not only a science story, it's also a love story.
And huge lessons to be learned elsewhere from the work you're doing here.
Yeah, that's another point. Other species are learning from our work. We have reintroduced such a huge number of lynxes that we have a lot of lessons learned.